If you're intrigued by movie making as a career, this isn't the class for you. But if you need to make movies, if you feel like you can't rest until you've told this particular story that you're burning to tell, then I could be speaking to you. If you don't get physically ill seeing your first rough cut, something's wrong. You always think you're not going to get physically ill, but you do. People think it's good editing if you can see it. Good editing is something else too, where you don't see it. Sometimes you think something is dreadfully wrong, and later when you look at it in the context of a cut, it might work. Well, in the case of production design, when you take it to Casino, the excess is what the film's about, the manic nature of it, splashiness of the whole thing. We knew that it had a certain quality to it that's contrasted later with the confrontations between Joe Pesci and Bob De Niro, and just the two of them in the desert arguing. You feel the change. There's nothing there. If the actors want to take a scene a certain place, I'll go with them there. There are things I know don't work immediately, but you shoot it because it's a process. If you had the time on set, I like to tell the actors to try anything. Have the time to fail. Just go ahead, try this, try that. You need that freedom. You need to give them that freedom. Well, of course, when I was younger, you didn't have cameras and that sort of thing. It was too expensive. This world of movie making, where these miraculous images and stories came from, really felt very distant. I had a teacher. He was the one to give me the confidence to become a filmmaker, to come from this other world and suddenly be able to express myself. If the machinery of it all seems too big and scary and overwhelming, it's great. You wake up in the morning and you do it anyway. You have to learn it yourself. You have to learn it going through that process. That's the greatest thing any teacher could give a student, the confidence and the inspiration to make you think, well, you know, it's crazy, but maybe I can do it. Now it's time to get to work. I'm Martin Scorsese, and this is my masterclass.
Somewhere along this journey, you may see some personality quirks that are weird. Every scene in a movie is trying to accomplish something. Do all the things that you have in your mind that will inform the audience when they see this character for, oh, that's who that is. After taking this class, you will be able to walk into a room, present your best self, and be happy with the result. We're gonna do this iconic scene from Pulp Fiction. When you're at home preparing, you break down what he's trying to convey, the person he's speaking to, and to the audience. The truth is, you're the weak, and I'm the tyranny.
What is that? What is he?
What is he saying? I'm the evil of the world, and I have dominion over you. If you have a personal biography for your character, that's a way to get inside of him, figure out, you know, why does he talk this way? Is he a loner? Does he have friends? Is he a cynic? Learn what acting techniques are in other cultures. You might find it more interesting than the way we normally do it. In an audition, don't say to them, I don't think my character would do that. Because your character won't do that because you won't be hired and you won't be getting that check. I made a decision early in my life that I wasn't gonna live and die in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Being able to embody a lot of different characters in film has been very cathartic. Being able to let go of the anger or the disappointment that I had in my life. Essentially, we're entertainers. Find a way to make yourself special. Give it something that will distract people from their daily lives in a way that allows them to live in this moment with us for a while and leave there and be energized by it and love it. I'm Samuel L. Jackson, and this is my masterclass.
She's gonna have it. I was a caterer, the producer, the director, the screenwriter, acted in it, and I was the first. We didn't have a first AD. Why? We didn't have the money.
If you're an independent filmmaker and making films outside of Hollywood, that's hard.
You have to pray on bended knee at the church of cinema.
But you have these tools that can help you tell a story. Want to show someone that's a little weak, you shoot them from above.
Want to show someone that's powerful, you shoot them from below.
Well, there's a dynamic that you get with the movement of camera. Film is about movement.
For the writers,
You know what the fuck that means?
Yeah, it means pay me my motherfucking money.
here's the thing why this works. When you think about it, they're both right. That really makes it dramatic when both people have beliefs and then they come head to head.
I owe you $50.
You keep
You keep it.
you keep
You keep it.
There's been a history of American cinema which is denigrated, defamed, belittled, dehumanized. It's documented. The Klan used Birth of a Nation to lynch black folks. As a filmmaker, it's not something to play with. It's gonna take many decades to retell these stories. And I knew that one way that I could do something about this was to make films for a diverse audience, to show black people in all our glory, faults, warts, and whatnot. Just grab the camera and go. Fight to get your vision on the screen. Short of killing somebody or robbing, you're gonna do what you have to do, get this thing made. Majority of the people on this earth go to the grave having worked their job they hated their whole life. So if you're able to make a living doing what you love, you won. I'm Spike Lee, and this is my masterclass.
What I'm going to do in this class is talk about all the fundamental skills of what is needed to be a great leader. As Teddy Roosevelt said, human nature is the most important thing to understand if you're a leader. So I will use examples from the 4 presidents I know the best: Abraham Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, and Lyndon Johnson. Each one of these presidents was a leader during a time of great crisis. We can learn from their failures and their ability to acknowledge those failures and learn from their mistakes, to use the lessons of history to apply to your daily life. I'd love to just transport them into you. The most important thing for a leader to develop is the ability to grow. All of us in our lives are going to suffer difficult times, and the question is, can you get through it? Can you grow through it? Can you learn from it? I think about Abraham Lincoln. He scoured the countryside for books, and he read everything he could lay his hands on. He understood that he was a work in progress. Nobody's going to be perfect. The most underappreciated leadership strength is the ability to relax and replenish energies. In our world today, so many of us feel we don't have time to take off, to relax. But that was important for all these leaders. There's something about the creativity of the mind that through quiet and serenity can break through from the struggles that you're having every day. That's what I love about history. It can really give you perspective, solace, and give you hope. Think of what you learn from parents, from people who have experience. You're learning from generations that lived before us. It makes you feel you're part of a continuum. You're not just here alone. So it makes you a deeper person and maybe even gives you that great thing called wisdom. I'm Doris Kearns Goodwin, and this is my masterclass.
To the best of my understandably shaky recollection, the first time I died went something like this. That's a pretty cool first line, actually, if I do give myself some credit. What I'm going to try to do with the class is go right from the beginning, from ideas for books. A really terrific sports writer named Red Smith said, writing is easy. All you do is stare at a blank piece of paper until drops of blood form on your forehead. We'll deal with outlines. Outlines are huge, how to create a scene. Be careful of, oh, I got it figured out, I don't want to read anymore. That's death. Every short story I ever sent out was rejected. My first novel was turned down by 31 publishers. It's rare that somebody comes up with a totally fresh idea out of nowhere. You already know how to do it. Write the story. Don't write sentences. Why am I doing this? because I've been there. It's a daunting thing to sit down and start a book. I'm James Patterson. This is my masterclass.
One of the best ways for directors to understand what actors need is to just act. You'll be humbled. I'm going to give you the actor-director's perspective, applying my 50 years in the film industry to your movies. When you act and direct at the same time, actors tend to focus on the moment, but directors have to do more than that. The director is the leader. As a leader, what you do have to have is a unifying language of vision. You have to make a decision and then support that decision. It's important that you know that you're going to be filled with anxiety. You're never going to know every single thing that your crew member knows. The truth is that everything that you have to know is inside of you. Every decision-making process is instinctual, can come from within. And as long as you have a pen and a paper to write it down, you're in good shape. I'm Jodie Foster, and this is my masterclass.
It's like death staring at you when you look at a camera. It's kind of scary also. I'm speaking to filmmakers or future filmmakers. You have to know, I have gone through all of this. I have learned it all on my own. Shit, yeah, this is good stuff. I know there's something I can pass on. For example, I do not use a storyboard. I think it's an instrument of the cowards. Acting and working with actors, for me it's chemistry, understanding the world and understanding human beings. Hold a camera, don't look at the flip screen, look through it. There's one book I would ask you to read if you want to make films. You spend way too much time in the film school. It costs way too much money. You can learn the essentials of filmmaking on your own within 2 weeks. And I see young filmmakers who come excitedly at me and they say, oh, I shot 450 hours. My heart sinks. We are not garbage collectors. We are filmmakers. We are thieves. We get away with loot from the most beautiful or the most scary or the most spectacular places that you can ever find. Just hit and run and get away with film. I'm Werner Herzog and this is my masterclass.
Ideas are everything. We're nothing without an idea. So I go where the ideas lead. When we get an idea that we love, you see it and feel it and know it all at once. A desire for an idea is like putting a little piece of bait on a hook and lowering it into the water. You don't know when they're going to come or what will trigger them. Lo and behold, on a lucky day, bingo, you'll catch an idea and party time. If you want to make a feature-length film, all you need to do is get 70 ideas. And you write these scenes on 3x5 cards, and when you have 70 of them, you've got a feature film. Find your own voice. Never give up Final Cut and total creative freedom. Everything is connected in some way or another. You could be working on a painting and suddenly something in that gives you an idea for a film. Music, painting, cinema, this is the art life. In cinema, I don't like rules. In Mulholland Drive, we only had one shot left to get.
How did you get it?
By breaking the rules. My name is David Lynch, and this is my masterclass.
understand one thing about directing, that every project you get involved in ultimately is just going to find its way to breaking your heart. They say there are only 7 stories. I think there might only be one story. We all understand stories. It makes us believe we can all direct, and we probably all can. We all have our own instincts. What we have to do is back up that instinct with something called craft. I really want to demystify the role of the director. I'm going to stage a scene and let you watch me work with the actors. And action.
I thought today was a huge improvement.
Are you nuts? Play to each other. Are you nuts?
Okay.
You know, a beat of looking this way. Have the courage to face them a little bit. Well, I thought it was great. Is this a moment of momentum and drive? Or is this the conclusion of something? You know all these things intuitively, but as a director, you have to move beyond your intuition. There is no more powerful tool than a great actor making a strong performance choice. Collaboration fails all the time. Everything we do in this process fails all the time. You're in this role as kind of editor-in-chief of a lot of ideas. That alone will never really make the movie work. We all want the same thing, a great moment, a great scene, a great movie. This is what it takes, right? Ultimately, you are the storyteller. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how big your crew is, it doesn't matter how much money you have to spend, it's what you're capturing inside the frame lines that's going to have this impact on the audience or not. Go out, find a story you love, and tell it. Very good work. I'm Ron Howard, and this is my masterclass.